I wouldn't be anywhere. Like, none of this is possible without you guys. And I mean that. Like, I know that's cliche and everyone says that. That's kind of like a thing that everyone says, but literally, I would not be in NXT. I wouldn't have had that run I did. I wouldn't have been able to do this. So this is all possible because of you. And this isn't just my channel. This is our channel. So I want to make this community grow and be as entertaining as possible. So I hope I can do that for you guys. Hi, everybody. Well, the chat's going crazy. Oh, man. This is going to be a lot to take in. I'm going to say hi to everybody right now because it's going nuts. All right. So, where to begin? I figured the first stream here, we are going to just chat, interact a little bit. I'll get to know you guys. You guys can ask some questions. I can give you some answers. I just want to say I appreciate all you guys watching. I appreciate you guys chatting. I appreciate you guys staying up late if you are overseas right now. I think one of the main things you guys are going to find out from these streams is just how big of a nerd I really am. As you can see from my background here, I have all of my my collectibles and all of my action figures back there. So I'm going to try to pick out, I guess, a few questions, a few things off the top of people's heads, and we can kind of go from there. I just want to say this has been an adventure, but I've been saying for, I think, a year now that I was going to try to give you guys more content. I've been saying that I wanted to give you guys some YouTube content, which I've been vlogging. I have been vlogging, I promise you that. Their favorite Ninja Turtle. Oh, Michelangelo, I think. I think Candace is more of a Leonardo person, but yeah, back to what I was saying. I have been vlogging for the past year, so eventually, I will tell you this. So going to opening day movies for me is what I feel as close as I'm going to get to being like a wrestling fan. And I am a wrestling fan, don't get me wrong, but experiencing that wrestling fan feeling, because I kind of just get to sit in the theater with a bunch of rabid fans, and I love when I go to opening night or midnight viewings because the crowd goes nuts and they go crazy, and that's always really cool. That makes me super happy. Endgame, I think, is one of my favorite in-theater experiences when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer. Whew! Whew, whew. What a reaction. What a pop that was. I'll never forget that moment. So yeah, that's the closest I feel to feeling like a wrestling fan, is being able to go to those movies and experience that with everyone else. It's pretty wild. Favorite Marvel-themed takeover gear. So that's like asking me to pick my favorite child. What I mean, technically, I guess I have multiple children spread across the wrestling world with Austin and Indy, and Padme is also my child. And, you know, I actually gonna have a real baby. But if I was to pick my favorite Marvel takeover wrestling gear, I will have to say maybe the Spider-Man / Venom one, or the Wolverine one, or I don't know, like my last one, obviously, that holds a special place in my heart. That thing I said in the promo on last Tuesday about always doubting myself and how I doubt myself constantly, that's real. A lot of what you saw on the show last Tuesday with my promo was 100% real. I do doubt myself constantly. I am a chubby kid at heart. Obviously, I deal and struggle with mental health like a lot of people. That, like, the fact that I'm a professional wrestler, I'm supposed to be big, strong, and tough, you know, that kind of goes out the window. I am still just a shy, chubby, socially awkward kid at heart. So what you're seeing right now is the kind of the real me that's not in front of a camera, but is in front of a camera right now, because we're just in my house right now. But, you know. Which Spider-Man is my favorite? I'm a big Spider-Man the Animated Series guy. As you can tell from, you can't really see it with the direction of the camera. I'll move that at some point. But I have just an amazing amount of Spider-Man the Animated Series toys behind me right now. I have pretty much the entire Spider-Man the Animated Series Toy Biz collection on my back wall over here. I have the entire WWF Hasbro collection in this glass case from IKEA right here. I have a big Marvel Legends collection. I have Jack's Bone Crunching Actions, Batman the Animated Series, big Power Ranger guy as well. So, like I said, you're going to kind of just realize that I'm just the biggest nerd in the world. If you haven't realized that by now, I think you should. I mean, you see what I wear on TV. What was the ultimate channel for me as a kid? Disney or Nickelodeon? I'm a big Nickelodeon guy. So much so that every night before I go to bed, I still do watch Nicktoons. Would you be a guest on Puppet History? I would love. So much so, hold on, let me see if it's up here. I would love to be a guest on Puppet History. I'm a big Watcher guy. Me and Candace love Watcher. So much so, as you can see here, with the little Professor Pop Vinyl. Big Watcher fan. I would love to be on any Watcher content. It's amazing. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at it. Look at it. I'm going to show Candace this because she's standing right here too. And this is our favorite part now. Look at this. Hit all the Padme emotes. Pop them off. Pop off the Padme emotes in the chat. And the baby bump is on camera as well. Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels. That's a dream match for me. That is probably my number one dream match that never happened. Coolest toy in that room. Ugh. So this is a... I laughed when I got it. This is a 24 karat gold plated limited edition Dragon Dagger. Again, this is a 24 karat gold plated Dragon Dagger. Candace got it for me for Christmas. This is a Christmas present. This is probably the biggest, I guess, weirdest, coolest toy in the room. Weirdest one for sure. Because I don't really know many people that have a 24 karat gold plated Dragon Dagger. I didn't realize it played the full song. Dave Meltzer or something is watching right now trying to get information, and I'm just listening to the Power Ranger song. So, oh, there we go. We did it. Don't Die Digging a Rebel Heart. Eesh. So Rebel Heart obviously holds a special place in my Rebel Heart. A lot of people don't realize, like, I've been very, very lucky throughout my career to where I've been pretty hands-on with a lot of my theme songs. So Chrome Hearts with me and Tommaso, that was just given to us. We didn't have a contract yet, and they gave us that song as a, just here. We didn't hear our music. We didn't see our Tron. Things were a lot different back then. We didn't hear anything like that until we came out, basically. And then for the Cruiserweight Classic, I got my own song, which was kind of like a riff on Chrome Hearts, but it was called From the Heart. And I sent him a couple different songs for inspiration for that. And then for Rebel Heart, I specifically requested a female singer, because I felt like a lot of guys just never had female singers. I know Christian did. I was a big fan of that. A couple other guys here and there. But I really wanted a female vocalist for my song. And then I sent him a few songs to kind of go off of there. But yeah, I had a lot of input in Rebel Heart. I had a lot of input in Coming Back for You as well when we went to that. I came out to it so much that I got so tired of Rebel Heart because I, came out to it for forever. And then hearing it again recently, it made me so happy to be able to I close that chapter with that song again. It made me very, very happy. So, do you think Padme would have won the NXT Women's Championship? Of course. She is a top star. She is number one. She's been the star since day one, and we realized that a long time ago. Am I now Johnny Gaming? I guess. I don't know. I've always been Johnny Gaming on Up, Down, Down and stuff like that, but I think my Twitch handle is the Johnny Wrestling because Johnny Gargano was taken and Johnny Wrestling is taken. So I'm the Johnny Wrestling on here. Johnny, I have a question. Did you enjoy your heel run? I did. I did for a lot of different reasons. If you do something for so long, you kind of get bored of it. I think the same thing with viewers as well. If you watch the same character on a TV show for so long, you kind of just get bored of seeing that character. So it was really exciting for me to kind of show a different side of myself, especially for the people that said, I never had a character. And I was kind of like, well, I'll show you all the characters now. But yeah, I had tons of fun with it. And I hope people enjoyed it. DIY versus DX, who would win? I mean, DIY, come on. When can we expect the collab stream with Chugs? I mentioned online at some point that we recorded a pilot for a podcast that we hosted. Me and one Chugs, or I guess Adam. I feel weird calling him Adam. But yeah, so me and Adam, again, it feels weird to say that, recorded a pilot for a podcast. We were going to host an Attitude Era podcast. It was going to be under the WWE banner. We recorded a pilot, and it was with a couple guests. It was with Malcolm Bivens and with Dakota Kai. Those were our two first guests on our podcast. It was very fun. Obviously, it didn't happen. I think due to the transition from the network over to Peacock. Obviously, it was going to be a podcast where you would be able to watch along with episodes of Raw and SmackDown from the Attitude Era. I do mean 7 foot tall Malcolm Bivens. Yes, he's huge. You were going to be able to watch along with episodes of the Attitude Era, and we were going to talk about it, and it was going to be very fun, and it was very fun. So who knows? Maybe one day. We'll see what happens. Which one of your NXT matches was your most favorite? So, I think all of the OG fans of mine are going to know the answer to this. I don't like any of my own matches, and I know you're being like, oh, Johnny, you're being, like, humble, and you're going to, like, come on, just be, like, no, like, you can ask anyone. Anytime I would come through the curtain after a match that I would have, I would always ask, was that fun? I would have a blank look on my face, and I'd be like, was that funny? Was that okay? Like, I'd be in the hotel that night with Candace, and I'd say, like, was that okay? Like, was that good? Like, I'm talking about, like, after, like, the Andrade match, after the Tommaso match in New Orleans, after the Cole match in New York. I don't have a good barometer on if things are good or not. Like, I hear reactions, and, like, crowds are going nuts, and that's great. But, like, for me, like, it's like, I hope it was good. Like I said, like, I have very low self-confidence. Yeah, but if I had to pick one, obviously it'd be those three. It'd be Andrade, Tommaso in New Orleans, and then Cole in New York. Those are probably my three favorites of all time. Will I be putting more merch on Pro Wrestling Tees? Yes, I will. I'm sure there'll be more designs and more stuff soon. There's other things in the works as well in the micro world. Little hint for you guys, so be ready for that. This is going to be one of the biggest missed opportunities of my life. Me and Candace were actually scheduled to go to the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards and get slimed. Like, that was a real thing that was going to happen. And, it sucks, man. I know. Right before the pandemic, like, literally, like, it was all set. We had our travel booked and everything. We were going to go to the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, be on the red carpet, do all the good stuff, get slimed. And then the pandemic happened, and the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards didn't happen. How much pudding did you actually eat during those videos with Candace teaching Nixon how to cook? Oh boy, I'm so glad I can finally talk about this. There was actually a payoff to all of that. If you go to any of the videos of Candace teaching Tegan how to cook, there's always a point in the background where I walk in and I just take a pudding cup and I walk away. So one of them was I just walked in, grabbed the pudding cup, yeah, pudding, and walked away. Another one, I grabbed a pudding cup, grabbed another pudding cup, walked away. Grabbed the water, put the water back, grabbed 3 pudding cups, put it away. I always grab pudding. We'll open up one side of the fridge, there was no pudding. Open up the other side of the fridge, there's pudding. Yay, great. The payoff is I go to the back for the last episode. I open up the fridge, there's no pudding. Other side of the fridge, there's no pudding. I'm sad. I start freaking out. I look up, and literally the guy who filmed the videos, his name is Dustin. It was his house. Another breaking, I guess, news for you. All the videos where we filmed the way home vignettes and things like that, not actually our house. It was someone else's house. So sorry to blow all that out of the water for you. So I would look, no pudding. I'd open, nothing. I'd be sad. I'd look up, and above the refrigerator there was a cupboard. And I would open up both cupboards, and there'd be literally like 50 puddings. And I would just, like, thank God for all the pudding. And that was the payoff of all of it. Oh, Austin Creed. King. All hail the king. Austin Creed is the best dude in the world, by the way. He's the man, and I can't say enough good things about him. Just not only as a wrestler, but as a human being. He's the man. How did I feel about my Royal Rumble debut? Literally, man, it's a dream come true. Like, Royal Rumble was my favorite pay-per-view as a kid. So to be able to be in the Royal Rumble and to kind of, come out, and I found out literally the night before. Like, I don't know, it's a dream come true, man. Like I said, I'm so lucky to be able to do this. Like, none of this is supposed to happen for me. I kind of say that all the time, but it's very true. I try my hardest, and luckily I've been very blessed, and things have worked out amazing for me. Like I said, I'm very lucky. Backstory of the Glorious Bomb. Oh baby, my memory is kind of fuzzy, but I do remember we were all practicing that Cruiserweight Classic. If you remember it, it was kind of a parade where we would all walk out and stand in the aisleway. We were rehearsing that the night before, and they played the Glorious song. And we all thought it was for the Cruiserweight Classic. So we were singing like, Glorious. So we loved the song. And then we realized it wasn't for the Cruiserweight Classic, it was for Bobby. But we still loved the song. So I just remember me and Tommaso kind of came up with the idea at the gym. And we were like, hey, Bobby, we're going to do this thing called the Glorious Bomb, where we play the song and just raise it up and just kind of nod at the camera or something. So we did it at the gym, and it blew up online. And the social media guy came up to me and was like, hey, this is like a thing. This is like a big thing. And we were like, oh, okay, I guess we got to do this more. So then we started doing more like in the hotel. And Bobby was a great sport, too, because we'd be like, hey, Bobby, just stand here for a minute. And we're going to do it. And then we would do it, and it'd be great. So, favorite Marvel series on Disney Plus so far? I will have to say WandaVision. I have a Toys R Us sign behind me right now. Again, you can't see it with the camera. I'll move it at some point. That is my biggest regret. Toys R Us and Blockbuster. Man, my kids are never going to be able to... Or my kid. Candace might want more, but for right now, kid. My kid will never be able to appreciate the fact that they can go into a Blockbuster. Or, you know, the sadness in going to Blockbuster and be like, I'm going to get this video game. And I'm going to go and I'm going to run up and I'm going to see this the freaking case here. And I'm going to look behind it and it's not in. I'm done. Like, you know, I'm screwed. I can never play it ever. So, favorite Power Ranger series. The original Mighty Morphin holds a special place in my heart. Better Wolverine costume, blue and yellow or brown and orange. As much as I love brown and orange, being a Cleveland guy, I love the blue and yellow Wolverine. Because, you know, I was a big fan of the X-Men animated series as well. Am I proud of what Austin Theory is doing? I am. Austin Indy, like this past year, like I made it my mission to kind of try to help as many people as possible. I wanted to try and pay that forward this past year, and I hopefully that I was able to do that with, you know, Austin and Indy, and not to mention the guys that I got to work with and help out as, you know, this year went on. Do we have a name picked out for the baby yet? We do. This is the question we get asked the most. I feel like the minute you say the name of the baby, people start judging it, you know? This is what Indy calls the baby. Joseph, with a V. Baby Joseph. The minute I'm like, yeah, we picked out the baby's name. The baby's name is Joseph. They're going to start kind of being like, you sure? They start putting down the name until the baby is here. Because when the baby's here, and I'm like, here is baby Joseph. They're like, so, because there's a name on the thing, you know? So, I will not publicly say the name until the child is born. We also didn't want to tell anyone the name 3 years ago. Because if we tell someone the name 3 years ago, they could steal it. And if they steal it, then our baby is not named that anymore. So, yes, the baby's name is Wolverine. What was me and Candace's first date like? I'm pretty sure we just went to a Subway. We had an indie show. It was like a Dreamwave show in like Illinois. And we just walked to a Subway. Is it really that romantic? What was it like when I had that one match with MVP on SmackDown in 2007? We're talking about Cedric Von Hausen, baby. Champion of Liechtenstein. So I didn't know that this was going to happen. I was literally at the training school. SmackDown was in Cleveland, Ohio that night. All of a sudden I hear my mom running down the steps, yelling, Johnny, 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 Johnny. And I'm like, I thought I was dreaming. I was like, what is going on? And she runs down the steps and says, you're going to be on SmackDown tonight. And I was like, wait, what? My trainer, JT Lightning at the time, set up something for me. They called him and they needed an extra. JT said I could go do it. He couldn't get a hold of me. He called my mom. My mom ran to the training center, woke me up. I run home. I have no idea what's going on. I grab my wrestling bag. I try to go in the front door where all the fans are going in because I have no idea how to get in the back door because I've never done this before. They take me down there. We do all that. And they say, okay, it's going to be you and MVP tonight. They're like, okay, so we're going to take you to wardrobe now. And I'm like, wardrobe? I got my own gear. Like, I'm fine. No, we got an outfit for you. And they took me into wardrobe and they showed me the little elf costume that was the Cedric Von Hausen costume for them. And they say, oh, man, you look great. We're going to take you to go see Vince now. Wait, what? And I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. So they take me to Vince's office, and it was like a movie. So I walk into Vince's office. He's reading a paper, and he slowly lowers it down. And he looks up at me, and I look at him. And he looks me up and down, and he says, "You look great." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Thank you so much for doing this." And he's super cool. Very nice. And I just remember, like, I wore that. I went out there, had the match. I was standing in the gorilla. I remember that was the first time I met Stephanie McMahon. She thanked me a bunch. Everyone was super nice. And that was, like, literally my first appearance on WWE television, was being Cedric Van Housen. Was it like seeing yourself in a video game? Dream come true. Like, literally a bucket list item, man. Also more surreal to be able to, like, play as yourself in the video game and do moves you came up with yourself. That was a cool thing for me, because, like, I always remember doing, like, creator wrestlers and, like, trying to make yourself, and that was fun. Any advice on cutting weight like you did? What worked for me was if it fits your macros, that you figure out your calorie count, you figure out your fat, your carbs, and your protein, and that equals your calorie intake for the day or week for that matter. And you eat according to that, and then you cut calories if you need to. Look up if it fits your macros dieting. But I hired a nutritionist myself when I got into really great, crazy shape. That's when I did that. So, what was my reaction when Candice won her first WWE championship? So proud. It was so well deserved, and so, like, it should have happened a long time ago. Candice has been my favorite wrestler for a very, very long time. Obviously, I'm biased, but even if I wasn't biased, I think everyone knows how talented she is, and she's deserved, like, a title with WWE for forever. But, I mean, it worked out, too, that she was able to share it with Indy, someone we genuinely love and genuinely adore and believe in. So it worked out to where she was able to share that moment with Indy. So that was super fun. Will I do a room tour on YouTube? Yes. So eventually, okay, so I guess I can kind of talk about this more. This isn't just going to be a gaming channel, obviously. I will play games on here. That is going to happen. I'm open to other things as well, other things you guys want to see. Candice can bake for you. If we want to do like a baking thing on here, we can do that. That could be fun. Obviously, there's a lot of things we can do on here. So just let me know. I can make that happen for you. Do I want a WrestleMania match one day? I mean, when you're a little kid, you dream of main eventing WrestleMania. I had that dream as well. I never got a chance to do that. I never got a chance to wrestle at a WrestleMania. Candice did. So Candice beat me out on that one. At some point, yes. That is still very much so a dream of mine. I wouldn't be anywhere. Like, none of this is possible without you guys. And I mean that. Like, I know that's cliche and everyone says that. That's kind of like a thing that everyone says. But literally, I would not be in NXT. I wouldn't have had that run I did. I wouldn't have been able to do this. So this is all possible because of you. And this is like, this isn't just my channel. This is our channel. So I want to make this community grow and be as entertaining as possible. So I hope I can do that for you guys. I guess there's another thing that I can address now while there's kind of a little bit of a lull. This is really going to be the last time that it's just me and Candice and Padme. I really kind of just want to enjoy as much time as I have with Candice and Padme before, you know, the little rascal arrives. And then it becomes a whole new world for me. But here's another thing. I've been very lucky in my career. I've been doing this for 15, 16 years. I haven't had any surgeries. I haven't had any like major injuries. I've been very lucky. I never miss time. Like, you look at like guys who get injured, they're gone for a year and then they come back and they're fresh. Part of me just feels like people need a break from me. I just want to give people a rest from Johnny Gargano for a little bit. I will say this. The Johnny Wrestling chants, they mean the world to me. And if you chant Johnny Wrestling somewhere loud enough, you never know what could happen.